Stationarity is arguably one of the most important concepts in time series analysis, and in this video I'm going to tell you what stationarity is, why is it important, how can we achieve it, and how we can do this all in Python. So let's get into it. On your screen now you should see a notebook that I created that's going to help us explain stationarity. So we'll first begin with answering the question, what is stationarity? And as I've wrote here in this notebook, a time series is stationary if it doesn't exhibit any long-term trend or obvious seasonality. Mathematically, what this means is that our time series will have a constant variance and a constant mean through time. And because there's a constant mean and constant variance, we then say its statistical properties do not change. So those are the key things to remember about stationary time series. A time series is stationary if its mean is constant and its variance is constant. Okay, that's all kind of the main point. Now let's show you an example and we can determine whether this data is stationary or not. So this is a data that I pulled from Kaggle, and it's basically showing the US airline passenger volume between 1948 and 1960. The data itself is not important, it's just more what it illustrates. So as you see here from this data, we can observe two key things. So notice the trend is increasing year on year. So the average passenger volume, or US passenger volume, is increasing year on year. The other thing you should notice is how the fluctuations on a yearly scale are also increasing. So the fluctuations in 1960, so the high and low, or the difference between the maximum and minimum in that year, is a lot greater than it was, say, in 1950. So what we can classify from this time series is that it is definitely not stationary because there is a clear increasing trend and there's also a clear increasing variance. And so this time series is not stationary. Now, the way we make time series stationary is a few different ways using transformations. The first transformation, which is the most famous one, is the differencing transform. Now, differencing transform, as written here, is basically, like its name implies, it's going to take the difference of the time series at adjacent points. So, as an example, if you look here, we have dt, which is the difference of the data point at time t, which is just the time series of yt minus the time series, the timestamp before. And that's all differencing is. It's just taking the difference of the time series at different points, at adjacent points in time, and it's going to plot that resultant series. The way we do this in pandas is very easy. We use this .diff method, which we apply to our original series. In this case, is data #passengers, and we get this resultant series, which I'm going to call passenger diff. And we simply plot that time series, and it looks like this. So as you can see now, there's no increasing trend, right? There's nothing, the mean of this data is roughly hovering around 0. As you can see, the mean at 1960, it's around 0, and the mean at 1950 is also 0. So we can say here that the mean of this time series is now constant. However, a keen eye of you may have noticed that the variance is still changing, right? Like the variance at 1950 is still a lot smaller than the variance or the size of the fluctuations in 1960. So we've stabilized the mean, but we still need to stabilize the variance. So how do we do that? Well, the way you do that is using a logarithm transform. So with a logarithm transform, all we're doing is we're going to take the natural log, in this case I'm using a numpy log function, onto our original data set, which is our original time series, #passengers, and now it'll give us a resultant time series, which I've called passenger log. And we simply plot this, and you may notice another thing here. So if you look at the fluctuations, they're now pretty consistent year on year. So for example, the fluctuations in 1960 are on a very similar scale to the fluctuations in 1959, 58, and all the way to 1950. So at any point in time, the variance is the same on average. However, again, you may notice that the mean is actually increasing at this point, right? Because the trend is going upwards as time goes on. So the average value in 1950 is a lot lower than the average value in 1960. So here we've stabilized the variance, but we haven't stabilized the mean. So the way we do both is applying both transformations, the difference transform and the logarithm transform. So what we do is basically we take our initial log or logarithm transform data, so passenger log, and we apply the .diff method again, like we did previously, to do the difference, and we plot the resultant series. And what we have here is our final series after applying the logarithm transform, then the differencing transform. It has to be in that order. If it's not in that order, then you get basically a result. We won't go into the details about it, but make sure you stabilize the variance first, then you stabilize the mean. Now, as you see here, the mean is pretty much around 0, as we expected, and also the variance is pretty consistent. If you plot like almost like dashed lines there, you see the variance is within that same boundary year on year. It's not changing, and the mean is also not changing year on year. So visually, I would say this time series is stationary, as I pose this question here. However, I mean, this is just visually, right? We're just saying, by me guessing and looking at this, I can say a time series is stationary. But we kind of want to be a bit more quantitative about it, and there is quantitative measures of doing this, and what we can do is use a statistical test. Now, if those of you who are unfamiliar with statistical tests, don't worry too much about it. However, I do recommend reading up on them because they appear everywhere in statistics and in data science and machine learning. But generally, a statistical test is a quantitative way of us to determine whether a result is, true or false, basically. That's kind of a layman interpretation of it. Now, the statistical test we'll use to determine if our time series is stationary is the most famous test is the augmented Dickey-Footer test. There is others, but this is by far the one that's most used in industry. And like I said, this is a statistical hypothesis test where the null hypothesis is our time series is stationary. Again, if you're not too familiar with statistical tests, don't worry too much about this. This is just the terminology we use to describe tests and statistics and how we carry them out. Now, the way we apply the test is we simply just call the Dickey-Footer function, which I got from SciPy, and we just apply on our series, and then we can print the results and analyze them. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to pass in my passenger diff log, so basically the time series that we've log transformed and differenced, which we deem to be stationary, into this function, and this is what the results will look like. So what we see here, if you're familiar with statistical tests, you'll probably understand a lot of the data going on here. But what we have is essentially different critical values. So what does basically mean? Again, this is me taking liberties. This is exactly the real mathematical statistical understanding behind these concepts. Is that if our value, our ADS statistic, is below, minus 3.48 in this case, we can say with 99% confidence or certainty that our time series is stationary. If it's below minus 2.88 but above minus 3.48, then we say with 5% or 95% certainty our time series is stationary, and so on. Now, if you notice here, our ADF statistic is minus 2.7, so it's lower than 10% and just above 5%. So what we can say in a very loose way, but an intuitive way, this is what it really means, that our time series is stationary with roughly 90% certainty. That's the case, right? Again, look up statistical tests if you're not familiar with them, but that's the general gist of it. And finally, the last thing I want to discuss is why do we need a stationary time series? We've just gone through all this process of doing a differencing transform, logarithm transform, the ADF test. What's all this for? What is the point? Well, I want to explain it in a way that makes the most intuitive sense to me and probably the most intuitive sense to you as well. So when a time series is non-stationary, the mean and variance are changing through time, right? And because they're changing through time, every data point then has its own mean and variance. And because each data point has its own mean and variance, they all belong to a different distribution. This is a problem when trying to fit models because a model assumes some consistent underlying distribution. For example, when you're trying to fit a linear regression model to your data, it's trying to find the best parameters of a normal distribution that can model that data. For a non-stationary time series, it can't do that because the distribution is changing, and so the parameters for each data point will be completely different, and you'll just lead to incorrect and erroneous results. Whereas for a stationary time series, all our data belongs to the same distribution, and this makes our life a whole lot easier, because now when we fit models such as linear regression and ARIMA, which we'll discuss in a later video, they can now fit parameters assuming there's some universal distribution across all the data points, and therefore we can better forecast and predict future time series points from our data. So let's quickly recap over the key points we discussed in this video. A stationary time series is a series which exhibits no long-term trend or obvious seasonality, therefore has a constant mean and a constant variance through time. As a result, its statistical properties are also consistent through time. This makes it easier to forecast and model because we can fit some underlying distribution to that data. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe to keep up with more data science and time series content, and I'll see you in the next one.